A weighted voting system is one in which voters have more weight on the outcome of an election. A weighted voting system of n voters is written by this. By the way, this is W sub 1, W sub 2, up to W sub n, where Q is the quota and W sub 1 through W sub n represent the weights of each of the n voters. A quota is the number of votes that are required to pass a measure. The weight of the vote is the number of votes. We have various voting systems. One is one person, one vote. So let's consider the weighted voting system here. This means that each person has one vote. 5 here is the quota, and that is required to pass a measure. Another voting system is called dictatorship. Let's consider the weighted voting system here. In this system, the person with 21 votes can pass any measure without even considering the rest of the votes. And even if the remaining 4 people, that is 6, 5, 4, and 3, the total of their votes do not total the quota of 20 votes. Another voting system, we have the null system. So considering the weighted voting system here, if all the members of this system vote for a measure, the total number of votes is only 16, which is less than the quota. So no measure can be passed. The last voting system that we have is the veto power system. Considering the weighted voting system here, the sum of all the votes is 21, which is the quota. Therefore, if any one voter does not vote for the measure, it will fail. Each voter is said to have a veto power. This means that even the voter with one vote can veto a measure. A voter has veto power whenever a measure cannot be passed without that voter's vote. If at least one voter in a voting system has veto power, again, if at least one voter in a voting system has veto power, then the system is a veto power system. In a weighted voting system, a coalition is a set of voters, each of whom votes the same way, either for or against a resolution. A winning coalition is a set of voters, the sum of whose votes is greater than or equal to the quota. Otherwise, it is a losing coalition. That is, whose votes is less than the quota. A voter who leaves a winning coalition and thereby turns into a losing coalition is called a critical voter. A dictator is a voter that has a weight that is greater or equal to the quota. A dummy is a voter who is never a critical voter and has no power. The number of possible coalitions of n voters is given by 2 to the power of n minus 1. So let's consider the weighted voting system given by this. and answer the following questions. Letter A, what is the quota? The quota is the first number that we have in the weighted voting system. So the answer here is 6. How many voters are in the system? So let's count 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 voters. What is the weight of voter B? So if we let the first voter as voter A, voter B, C, and D, voter B here has 3. What is the weight of the coalition A, C? So let's just get the total of the weights from voter A, and voter C. So 4 plus 2, that is equal to 6. Is the coalition AD a winning coalition? When we say winning coalition, the sum of whose votes should be greater than or equal to the quota. So voter A has 4, voter D has 1. So 4 plus 1, that is equal to 5, and that is less than the quota. So the coalition AD is not a winning coalition. So the answer is no. Which voters are critical voters in the coalition ACD? So if we total the votes of this coalition, this is equal to 4 plus 2 plus 1. That is 7 votes. So that is A plus C plus D. This is a winning coalition. So if voter D will be out, so minus 1, the sum of the votes still equal to the quota. So voter D is not a critical voter, because when you say critical voter, it is a voter who leaves a winning coalition and thereby turns into a losing coalition. But still, if voter D will be out, this is still a winning coalition. So what if voter C will be out? So 4 plus 1, this will have 5 votes only. So it turns out that when voter C is out, this will turn to a losing coalition. So voter C will be a critical voter. Another scenario, what if voter A will leave the coalition? So the total or the sum of the votes will only be 3, and that turns out to be a losing coalition. So voter A and voter C are critical voters. So how many coalitions can be formed? Using the formula 2 to the power of n minus 1, n here is the number of voters, which is 4. So 2 to the power of 4 minus 1, that is equal to 16 minus 1 equal to 15. So we have 15 coalitions. So first, let us enumerate all the coalitions. Since we have 2 to the power of 4 minus 1, and that is equal to 15 coalitions. So we have coalition with voter A, voter B only, voter C, the coalition D, the coalition A and B, coalition AC, AD, BC, BD, CD, ABC, AB and D, we have A, C, and D. We also have B, C, and D, and A, B, C, and D. So these are the coalitions formed from the given weighted voting system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So for the first coalition, this has only 4 votes. From this weighted voting system, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is voter A, voter B, voter C, and voter D. So for voter A, 4 votes, voter B, 3, C, 2, D, 1. The sum of the votes of A and B is 7, A and C, 6, A and D, 5, B and C, 5, B and D, 4, C and D, 3, A, B, and C, 9, A, B, and D, 8, A, C, and D, 7, B, C, and D, 6, A, B, C, and D, 10. So how many winning coalitions can be formed? So from these coalitions, those coalitions that is greater than or equal to the quota are considered to be a winning coalition. First will be the coalition A and B because it has 7 total votes. AC equal to the quota, equal to the quota. We also have A, B, and C with 9 votes. Also, A, B, and D with 8 votes. Coalition A, C, and D with 7 votes. Coalition B, C, and D with 6 votes. And the coalition A, B, C, and D with 10 votes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 winning coalitions. So for the question, how many coalitions consist of exactly 3 voters? So if we count coalitions with 3 voters, we have ABC, ABD, ACD, and BCD. So we have a total of 4 coalitions, which consist of exactly 3 voters. Another example, suppose that the 4 owners of a company, Awe, Bien, Carl, and Dean, own respectively 500 shares, 375 shares, 225 shares, and 400 shares. There are a total of 1,500 votes, with a quota of 751. The weighted voting system of the company is given by this. So let's determine the winning coalitions of this problem. But first, we have the following coalitions: A, B, C. You may start with this, enumerating all possible coalitions so that it will be easier for you to determine which is a winning coalition or a losing coalition. A, B, C, A, B, T, A, C, D, B, C, D, sorry, I forgot C, D, and A, B, C, D. So for A, we have 500, B, 375, C, 225, D, 400. But if you can see that each votes is not equal or not greater than the quota, then you can skip those. So for coalition A, B, this is 875. A, C, we have 725. A, D, we have 900. B, C, 600. P, D, 775. A, B, and C, 1,100. A, B, and D, that is 500 plus 375 plus 400, that is 1,275. A, C, and D, 500 plus 225 plus 400, that is 1,125. BCD 375 plus 225 plus 400, that is 1,000. CD 225 plus 400, 625. And A, B, C, and D has a total of 1,500 votes. So the only coalition that is equal or greater than 751 to be considered as a winning coalition are the coalition AB, AD, BD, ABC, ABD, ACD, BCD, and ABCD. So let us complete this table. AB, AD, BD, ABC, ABND, ACD, BCD, and ABCD with the corresponding number of votes. 875, 900, 775, 1,100, 1,275, 1,125, 1,000, and 1,500. So these are the winning coalition. So for each winning coalition, determine the critical voters. So from this, to be a critical voter, it should turn the winning coalition to a losing coalition. So let's recall the weighted voting system. 751 as the quota, 500 voter A, 375 voter B, 225 voter C, and voter D 400. It's A, B, C, and D. Okay, so from the winning coalition A, B, the number of votes is 875. So if voter A leaves the coalition, this will be a losing coalition. So voter A is a critical voter. And if voter B will leave the winning coalition, this will also be a losing coalition. So both A and B are critical voters for this winning coalition. So for winning coalition AD, if 900 minus 500 less than the quota, so voter A will be a critical voter. 900 minus 400, if it is less than the quota, then voter D is also a critical voter. So for the winning coalition BD with 775 votes, if voter B leaves the coalition, then it is less than the quota, then voter B is a critical voter. So as with voter D. Next, for winning coalition ABC with 1,100 votes, if voter A, 1,100 minus 500, this will give us 600, and that is less than 751. So voter A is a critical voter. How about voter B? 1,100 minus 375, this will have 725, and that is less than the quota. So voter B is also a critical voter. But if voter C leaves the coalition, that is 1,100 minus 225, this will give us 875, and that is still greater than the quota. So voter C is not a critical voter. Next, winning coalition with 1,275 votes. If voter A will leave the coalition, this will give us 775, and that is still greater than the quota. So voter A is not a critical voter. How about voter B? 1,275 minus 375 is equal to 900 and still greater than the quota 751. So voter B is not a critical voter also. How about voter D? From 1,275 minus 400, still greater than the quota. So this coalition has no critical voters. A, C, and D with 1,125. So 1,125 minus voter A, that is 625, that is less than the quota. So voter A here is a critical voter. If 1,125 minus voter C, that is 225, that is equal to 900 and greater than the quota, so voter C is not a critical voter. How about voter D? So from 1,125 minus 400, that will give us 725 votes, and that is less than the quota. So voter D here is a critical voter. Next, winning coalition with 1,000 votes. From 1,000 votes minus the votes of voter B, which is 375, this will give us 625, and that is less than the quota. So voter B is a critical voter. How about voter C? 1,000 minus 225, that is 775, and that is greater than the quota. So voter C is not a critical voter. So from 1,000, if voter D will leave the coalition, so 1,000 minus 400, that is 600, and that is less than the quota, so voter D is a critical voter. And the last coalition, winning coalition, A, B, C, and D, if since each voters are less than the quota, then if one leaves the winning coalition, still it is greater than the quota of 751, so none of these voters are critical voters. Another measure of power, called the Banzhaf Power Index, was derived by John F. Banzhaf III in 1965. The purpose of this index is to determine the power of a voter in a weighted voting system. The Banzhaf Power Index, or BPI, of a voter V is given by this equation. So using the result of example 2, let's determine the BPI of, or the Banzhaf Power Index of A, B, C, and D. By the way, this is A, B. So to find the Banzhaf Power Index, we look under the critical voters and find that A is a critical voter 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. A is 4 times a critical voter. B here 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times also. C is 0. D 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we sum this up, 4 plus 4 plus 0 plus 4, that is equal to 12, and this would be our denominator of the Banzhaf Power Index. So again, the BPI of voter V is equal to the number of times voter V is a critical voter divided by the number of times any voter is a critical voter, and that is equal to 12. So to compute the BPI of voter A, that is equal to, since voter A is a critical voter 4 times divided by the denominator 12, and that is equal to 1 over 3, or approximately 0.33. The BPI of voter B is equal to, since voter B is a critical voter 4 times divided by the denominator 12, and that is equal to 1 over 3, or approximately 0.33. The Banzhaf Power Index of voter C equal to 0 times divided by 12 equal to 0. And the Banzhaf Power Index of voter D is equal to, since voter D is a critical voter 4 times, so 4 divided by 12, that is 1 over 3, and that is approximately 0.33. So in this case, 3 voters, 3 voters A, B, and D has the same power.